Well, tonight, a witness to the Meadowlake Park mass shooting in Columbia recalls the night that she was, quote, inches away from disaster. Her vehicle literally caught in the crossfire as she drove to the park to pick her daughter up that night. They arrived just as that shooting started. Fortunately, they were not hurt. That shooting happened overnight on April 29th at the park, which is off Wilson Boulevard. 11 people were hurt, most of them teenagers. 9 of them were shot. Nick Neville joins us live with details on this case. Nick, after speaking with her in hearing what she and her daughters went through, just had to be a tragic evening.
Yes, a tragic evening indeed for them, Judy. So she's angry about all this and says the past 10 days have been overwhelming. When she got here that night, she kept hearing pop, pop, pop. Initially at that point thinking that it was firecrackers. Wasn't until she got back to her home later that night that she realized the true extent of what she had just experienced.
All the anxiety that came from it more so afterwards, when I saw that we actually were in the middle of flying bullets.
One woman still in a state of shock after witnessing the Meadowlake Park mass shooting.
You're nervous and anxious that it might happen again. You know, you're kind of looking out everywhere around you. Every little noise scares you. You hear somebody outside, you want to peek out the window, make sure you're okay. And you know, every time we pass that park, because we pass by it every day, you know, it's something that you start feeling dread, a sense of overwhelming dread.
The woman who requested anonymity due to safety concerns drove to Meadowlake Park that night along with her 7-year-old daughter after her teenage daughter called and said she was uncomfortable at the gathering.
So glad my daughter had enough common sense to call me and tell me, because things could have been a lot worse than what they were.
In the midst of the chaos, one bullet hitting the front hood of her car, traveling upward and stopping just short of her windshield. It's still stuck there, a constant reminder of the trauma she experienced that night.
I thank God. If I forget to pray, I remember it as soon as I get in the car, because God is what kept us safe that night.
The woman sharing this message with the community as she continues to process what she saw.
We got to be vigilant, understand what our kids are capable of doing, even when it's hard to accept that about our children. It's up to us to make a difference in their lives so they can make a difference in everybody else's lives on a positive note.
The woman tells me that she and her daughters are unlikely to come back here to the park anytime soon, as really they just experience and go through the trauma of what they experienced that night. They also say that they're unlikely to go to any parties anytime soon. Reporting in Columbia, Nick Neville, WIS News 10.
All right, Nick, thank you so very much. The Richland County Sheriff's Department's investigation into that shooting is ongoing.